Well, I'm glad you've introduced yourself to writing a thesis, because writing a thesis is difficult. One very good example of how it is difficult is the number of books that are on the market telling students how to write a thesis. The problem is, though, that those books, by and large, don't tell you where to start, what to say, and why you say it. And this is what I want to address. In a book that covers all the requirements for thesis writing, I think we need three important dimensions to it. It needs to be broad in its philosophical and disciplinary focus. By that I mean it needs to paint the picture of the broad academic context in which research takes place. This is a little bit like a surgeon needing to do anatomy of the whole body before specialty or specialism eventuates. Having that broad context paints the picture of the reality in which the actual thesis and the research associated with it takes place. It also needs to be broad because of the disciplines covered by the various thesis writing students. So the book has to be cross-disciplinary. It also needs to have a step-by-step guide as to how to do it. And in light of the philosophical context that precedes it, you have a better picture, a better understanding of why you're doing it. And above all, a book needs to be concise. You don't want a book that is equivalent to a telephone directory that gives you advice in 300 pages on every minute aspect of writing the thesis. It needs to be readable in a short period of time and concise and clear. So, generally speaking, this is why I use the term in the book, the intellectual approach. And that's not meant to be a high-handed or snobbish statement. It's meant to convey the idea that alongside the how to do it is an understanding framework or a framework of understanding of why you're saying what you're saying. One interesting excursion in this, for example, would be figure 2.2 in the book, and you'll see that from this diagram there is a sharp contrast between the way textbooks paint the scientific method and the process of research, in contrast to the reality of how research actually proceeds. And I think as you read more and more into that chapter, you'll see that it's important to understand the reality rather than the hypothetical picture painted by so many textbooks. So I hope you find the following chapters helpful, entertaining at times. Combined with the number of diagrams, I think the book provides, satisfies the requirements for what students need.